So tell me about yourself. In this video, I'm going to give you the best sample answer and framework to nail this common, yet very annoying, interview question. I'm Kamara, Toffolo, resume writer, LinkedIn consultant, job search strategist, and LinkedIn top voice who helps established professionals dare to do work differently and land great fitting gigs. I post new job search videos every Tuesday and go live every Thursday. My videos will equip you with some of the most valuable information to make your job search easier, because job searching shouldn't be this hard. Tell me about yourself. What is this, some cheesy speed dating event? If so, get me a martini, stat. Extra dirty. Tell me about yourself as an icebreaker. An uninspired icebreaker at that, but an icebreaker nonetheless. And it really allows the interviewer to take the interview in different directions so that they can take great notes on you about how qualified you are and how great of a fit you are for the role. Now, there are a few things that we want to avoid when answering the question, tell me about yourself. First and foremost, we don't want to barf our resume. The interviewer probably has your resume in front of them, so they don't need a repeat of it. Also, if you're trying to recite or regurgitate your resume, you're going to be talking for way too long, and this answer is just going to go on and on and on. And you're going to lose the listener. Next, we want to avoid being self-deprecating. Oh yeah, that gap from 2014 to 2016, that's what I call my eat, pray, love era. As you can tell, it was mostly eating, not as much praying or loving. Food. Being self-deprecating can get you a laugh amongst friends, but in an interview, you're basically selling your services. Telling the interviewer right off the bat how much these services might suck isn't a good start. And finally, you want to avoid sharing your life story when you're answering this question. Well, I grew up in a small town in BC, and all through elementary school, I was a straight A student, played in the school band, volunteered regularly, and then puberty. Time is of the essence here. We want to make a great first impression by not droning on and on and on, and we want to have a very focused answer in order to show that we're qualified and a good cultural fit for this role and company. So let's talk about what makes for a great answer to tell me about yourself. It really aims to give a highlights reel of your career and help the interviewer basically envision or picture you in that role at their company. So how can we make sure that we're doing this? First, we really need to be clear for ourselves why we applied to this job. This will really help us build our answer to this question. We also need to be very clear on why we're qualified for the role for which we're interviewing. Next, when we're answering the question, we need to make sure that we're telling a bit of a story through our answer. Also, we need to give the interviewer an idea of how we arrived where we are today in our careers. The best way I can think of for approaching the answer to tell me about yourself is to think of it like a cake with multiple layers. Because food. The base layer of the cake will be covering your career mission and explaining who you are as a professional. More on career mission in a bit. The middle layers will be made up of how you got your career start and work wins from a few select roles. The top layer will be forward-looking information about things that you're looking forward to doing in the role for which you're interviewing. And the icing on the cake, that's your enthusiasm and excitement. So let's talk about the first layer, the base layer, your career mission. So what is your career mission? It's the one big thing that drives you to kick ass in your career. Here are some examples. If you're in sales, your career mission might be to drive revenue in new markets. If you're in marketing, your career mission might be to give voice and visibility to brands. If you're in software development, your career mission might be to build solutions that make your users' lives easier. If you're in data analytics, your career mission might be translating data into new business opportunities. So in order to pinpoint your career mission, ask yourself, why do I do what I do? Why do I keep doing what I do? But if you're making a career transition, your career mission might be a bit different. So if you are making a transition, instead of asking yourself why you do what you do or why you keep doing what you do, ask yourself what unique perspective can you bring to your new role and new career. So maybe you're transitioning from sales into product management, and your career mission might be to bring your understanding and insights into what your customers need to build better products. Maybe you're transitioning from being an elementary school teacher to a corporate trainer, and your career mission might be bringing your understanding of diverse learning modalities to develop customized and targeted training programs in a corporate environment. These are just a few examples of the countless career mission possibilities. So take a moment and think about what your career mission is and then write it down. I'll wait. Got it? Good. That's your cake's base layer. Now let's take a look at layer number 2, how you got your career start. For thinking about your career start, I want you to think back, all the way back to the first role that set you on the path to where you are now. This could be your first job ever, or it could be just a few jobs ago. Basically, you want to be able to tell the interviewer how you ended up where you are today. So maybe after graduating university, did you realize that your strengths were in a totally different area than where you majored? Or maybe you had a very focused idea of what you've been wanting to do since you were very young and pursued it. Maybe one of your former employers saw potential in you in an area that you never considered, hired you for a role, and then you realized you loved it. Did you realize after several years in your former profession that you were destined to do something else? Did something specific in your childhood even set you on the path for where you are now? Write down a sentence or two that really sums up how you arrived where you are today. I'll pause myself while you do. Now let's add in a little more flavor with our next layer where we talk about select work wins. As mentioned earlier, answering "tell me about yourself" isn't an opportunity to regurgitate our resume, more so to give a highlights reel of our career. So thinking back and reflecting upon your entire career, I want you to cherry pick either the top 3 most relevant roles related to the job for which you're interviewing, or if you're career transitioning, select your 3 most recent roles. Write these down. Then, under each of these roles, I want you to note down either the one best and most memorable accomplishment from the role that demonstrates that you're qualified for the role for which you're interviewing, or if you're career transitioning, write down the one best, most memorable accomplishment that emphasizes the unique strengths that you'll bring to the role. What we're really trying to do here is emphasize and reinforce the career mission that we identified earlier. So go ahead and write this stuff down. I'll be here. And finally, let's top off the world's most delicious cake with some forward-looking information about what you're looking forward to doing in the job for which you're interviewing. This is one more opportunity in answering "tell me about yourself" to emphasize your qualifications. And honestly, it's probably the easiest part of the whole answer. You probably have a really good idea of why you applied to the role, because you applied for it. But when you really think about it, what are you excited to do in the role? Are you pumped to build an outstanding product? Are you excited to execute on a big development project? Are you amped to amplify the brand with digital campaigns? Specifically, what solution are you really excited to be a part of that will really help this employer? Write this down. I've got nowhere to be, so. Now let's boil this all down into the best sample answer for "tell me about yourself." Now, I cannot stress enough that an interview is a conversation. So when we're answering this question, we really want to make sure that we're using conversational language and words so that we don't come across as robotic and rehearsed. Rather, we come across as confident and prepared. So in this part of the video, I'm going to give you 2 separate sample answers and frameworks. One for professionals who are not career transitioning, and one for professionals who are career transitioning. You're going to want to watch each framework in full so you can pick up some ideas for how you might want to best answer this question. So let's make our cake. First up is the sample answer if we aren't career transitioning. So first, we want to talk about our career mission. So you might say something like, I'm a type of professional known for my commitment to your career mission. In action, this might sound something like, I'm a digital marketer known for my commitment to helping CPG brands develop their voice and gain visibility with their target audiences. Next, we want to give the listener an idea of how we got our start. We've got a few different ways that we could approach this. The simple and straightforward way, which would sound something like, I got my start in your specialty when I joined company name as job title. How that might sound is, I got my start in software development when I joined Wealthsimple as a junior developer. Or we could use this to really emphasize a core strength. And this part of your answer might sound something like, after a big career event, I realized that I had a knack for one of your core strengths, which set me on a career path in your specialty and led to my first role at company name as a job title. So how this might sound is, after graduating university, I realized that I had a knack for extracting business insights from data through my side hustle in web design, which set me on a career path in data analytics and led to my role at LinkedIn as a data specialist. Next, we want to talk about the different work wins that we identified earlier. I'm going to take you through how we might go about sharing each 3 of the work wins and roles that you already identified. So for the earliest role and work win that you identified, we might say something like, at the company you mentioned in your previous answer, I built a strong foundation in your specialty and became known as or for, and then you'd insert your best accomplishment from that role. So how that might sound is, at Wealthsimple, I built a strong foundation in the software development lifecycle. I also became known as the bug detector because I had an unusual ability to uncover bugs that no one else could find. Next, you want to talk about the next sequential role and work win that you wrote down earlier. And you might share details about that role with this. In one of my following roles where I served as job title at company name, I developed a reputation for my strength in, insert a core desired strength that the interviewer would be interested in, and or which led to, and then you'd insert your best accomplishment from that role. How that might sound is, in one of my following roles where I served as mobile app developer at CIBC on the online banking team, I developed a reputation for my strength in UX and was one of the key contributors to building the award-winning mobile banking app. And finally, let's share a third memorable work win that you wrote down earlier with most recently as, and then you'd insert your most recent relevant role at company name. I'm or I was frequently turned to or entrusted with or assigned to something specific that exhibits your strengths and led, achieved, or accomplished, and then you'd insert your best accomplishment from that role. So this might sound something like, most recently as team lead at Scotiabank for mobile payments, I'm frequently turned to by the business for my expertise in online banking and have led my team to execute on a number of concurrent multi-million-dollar projects. And finally, when finishing up the answer to this question, we want to predict the future. And we might do that with something like, I'm excited to leverage my skills in your core area of strength to help the interviewing employer do the main solution that they would be hiring you for. So how that might sound is, I'm excited to leverage my skills in team leadership, digital and online banking, and development to help HSBC differentiate as a leader in the digital and online banking space. Now let's take a look at answering this question as a career changer. Now there are a lot of similarities with the answer that we already looked at. However, there are some things that you'll want to switch up. So first, let's talk about how you will address your career mission in the early part of this answer. You might start with, I'm a type of profession that you're coming from, turned, type of profession you're going to, excited to bring my unique perspective from the profession that you had, to how you'll make a difference in the new profession that you're targeting. So how this might sound is, I'm a sales professional turned product manager, and I'm excited to bring my insights into customer needs through my years in sales to help build products that make a difference in the lives of customers. Next, let's take a look at how you will share what sparked your career change. So you might want to share the information with something like, after building a career in your previous specialty and an event that led to realizing you wanted to make a career transition, I realized that I was most engaged when working on the main thing that you'll do in your new career, rather than the main thing you'd work on in your previous career. It was then that I decided to make a career transition, any new training that you did in your new specialty, and pursue this new career path. So how this might sound in action is, after my 10-year career in sales and business development, and frequently collaborating with product in order to optimize the solutions that we built for clients, I realized that I was most engaged when creating the solutions, not selling them. It was then that I decided to make a career transition, obtained my certificate in product management, and pursued this new career path. So now let's share the work wins from our previous career that relate and are relevant to our new career. So take a look at that list that you wrote down earlier. When talking about the earliest accomplishment, you might share it with a sentence like, my knack for new specialty was something that I noticed even in one of my earliest or earlier roles as job title with company name. In this role, something you did that exhibited interest in your new specialty and results of the thing you did that exhibited interest in your new specialty. I know that sounds like a lot, so let's hear this in action. My knack for product management was something that I noticed even in one of my earliest roles as account executive with IBM. In this role, I proactively tracked customer feedback on products for my own reference, but was also invited to share and present my findings with the product department in order for the feedback to be integrated into future initiatives. Now let's talk about your second work win that you wrote down earlier. You might share it with something like, I continued to demonstrate my strength you mentioned earlier, as job title at company name, where something you did that exhibited strength in your new specialty. As a result, and that's where you'd insert the best result that you achieved from this. So how this might sound in action is, I continued to demonstrate my strength in understanding customer needs in my next role as account manager at SoftChoice, where I developed customized mixes of professional services solutions that were tailored to meet unique customer needs. As a result, I ranked as one of the top sales staff in Ontario. And finally, let's share our most recent work win with something like, most recently as your most recent job title at company name, I became even more involved in, or I was also involved in, strength in your new specialty as and insert something you did that exhibited the strength in the new specialty, which has resulted in the best accomplishment from doing this. So how this might sound in action is, most recently as senior account manager at Top Hat, I became even more involved with product development as I initiated a user survey to extract insights that could be used to improve our products, and which has kicked off a variety of enhancement projects. And finally, we're going to wrap this answer up with something like, I'm excited to leverage my skills in core areas of strength to help interviewing employer do the main solution that they're hiring you for. In action, this might sound like, I'm excited to leverage my skills in customer insights and customer success to help Top Hat further their mission of producing user-driven products. The interview question, tell me about yourself, isn't a trap. Yes, it's as lame as asking someone, so what do you do? It is a canned icebreaker. It's used a lot. It can open up the conversation, and interviewers are going to continue using it. So I hope this leaves you feeling better equipped to tackle this question. And here's my cue for you. What interview question is one that makes you crazy? Or what interview question do you always find is a challenge? Tell me in the comments below. I make a lot of videos, but I also make free guides to help you in your job search. Make sure you sign up for my free cover letter guide. You can look for the sign up link in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with a friend, and click on my face over there and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.